My fiancée constantly made excuses to avoid our conversations, and when she asked to push back our talk for another week, I reached my breaking point and just walked away. Be me, Dylan. Wife Chloe didn't kiss me goodbye that Wednesday morning. Wasn't unusual by then. What stood out was the silence, how dense it felt, like stepping into a room full of sleeping strangers. Chloe moved around the kitchen like she didn't live here. We used to bump hips at the sink while brushing teeth. Now, if our eyes met in the hallway, she flinched, like I was a light she couldn't bear to look into. No shouting, no drama, just subtraction, like I was being erased in tiny pencil strokes. Didn't say anything, just sat there swirling cold coffee in a chipped mug. While she buttered toast, she wasn't going to eat. She pulled on her coat like it offended her. Purse on her shoulder. Phone in hand, thumb already scrolling before the door even closed. She paused in the doorway. "Let's talk tonight," she said without looking at me. Then she left. Tonight came. She didn't. Drove to the beach of all places. Hadn't been there since the kids were toddlers. Used to take them there to throw breadcrumbs at seagulls, chase pelicans. Chloe would laugh and film everything on her phone, always zooming in on their faces. Never minded back then. Told myself that was normal. That I was behind the camera in our story. But now I realize she never really wanted me in the story. The beach was quiet. Overcast. Couple joggers, kid in a hoodie skateboarding in loops. Parked and sat there, fingers tapping the steering wheel. Stomach clenched so tight I could feel my pulse in my teeth. Didn't know why I was there until I checked her location. Yeah, I know, not proud of it. But I noticed she stopped sharing it 3 weeks ago. Just turned it off one day. "Battery saving," she said. Eyes flicking left the way they do when she lies. So I installed something that let me see what she didn't want me to. That morning while she thought I was still asleep. She wasn't at work. She was in a cul-de-sac in the Riverside district. She didn't have a listing there. Sat with that for a long time, imagining things, wishing I wasn't. Then I drove. It was the kind of neighborhood where people pressure wash driveways twice a week, hang wreaths on their doors for every season. Wasn't hers, wasn't ours. Parked 3 houses down, cracked the window, turned the radio off, and waited. At 11:47 a.m. a man opened the door. He was tall, probably early 40s. Shirt untucked, socks but no shoes. He stretched like he owned the sun. Chloe walked out behind him, pulling her hair into a ponytail. Smiling that smile, not the brittle smile she gives me when I ask if she's okay. The old one, the real one. He said something. She laughed, leaned into his chest, stayed there too long, gripped the steering wheel so tight my fingers cracked. That was all I needed. Drove home in silence. Like a soldier who's just buried someone and doesn't know who yet. She came home later that night, smelling like hotel soap. I was on the couch. She didn't even ask where I'd been. Just kicked off her shoes, said, "Hey." I nodded. She stood there shifting her weight. "Then let's talk tonight." I looked up at her. "You already said that?" I said. She froze just for a second. Then she shrugged and walked upstairs. "Tonight's here now, and so is everything I wish I didn't know." Didn't sleep. Laid there with my eyes open, staring at the ceiling, while the sound of the bathroom fan hummed upstairs. She was in our bedroom, our bed, probably texting him, maybe scrolling through their old messages, rereading jokes they thought were clever, planning the next time she'd disappear, come home reeking of someone else's cologne, masked under lemony body wash. Every creak in the house sounded suspicious. Every shadow looked like proof. By 4 a.m., I was in the garage, sitting in the car with the engine off, staring at the toolbox like it had answers. Didn't cry, didn't yell, but something in me unhooked that night. Like a bolt snapping free behind my ribs, didn't recognize the silence anymore. Not the house's, not my own. At 7:30 a.m. sharp, she came down the stairs. Bag slung over one shoulder, hair still damp, lashes thick with effort. Chloe had the nerve to smile at me. "Morning," she said like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't walked out of another man's house 14 hours ago. "You said we'd talk today," I said. She paused, annoyed, like I was some meeting she forgot to cancel. "Oh, right," she sighed, set her bag down. "I'm kind of late, Dylan. Can we do this later? I'm slammed." "You were free yesterday." She blinked once. No guilt, no fear, just calculation. "Is this going to be a thing now? A thing?" I stood up. "You said you wanted to talk." I waited. "I had a long day," she snapped. "I don't need to be interrogated before breakfast. You weren't at work." Her face didn't fall. She didn't even flinch. She just blinked slower. "What are you talking about?" "You weren't at the listing on Pine Street. You were in Riverside District." A long pause. Chloe, I said quietly. I saw you. Silence. Then she laughed. Laughed. You're spying on me. You said you were working? She tilted her head. That smug little angle she used to save for arguments, where she knew she had the upper hand. I watched you leave his house. The smile disappeared. Finally, she stepped back, jaw tight. You followed me. I checked your location after you turned it off. That's illegal. That's marriage, Chloe. She scoffed and picked up her bag. So what now? You're going to what? Yell? Throw something? Make this some dramatic movie moment? I want the truth. The truth is, she snapped. The truth is, I haven't been happy in years. You think cooking dinner and playing house fixes anything? You don't even see me anymore, Dylan. You see your idea of me? That hit like a shovel. You could have told me, I said. I did over and over. You just didn't hear it because you didn't want to. No, I said, voice flat. You whispered it while texting another man in our bathroom. She rolled her eyes and stormed toward the door. Where are you going? To work? You're not going to talk about this? I don't owe you a breakdown of my private life. Just because we share a mortgage, she said, and slammed the door. That's when I knew she wasn't sorry. Not even a little. She was gone. She just hadn't packed yet. The sound of that door slamming still rings in my ears, like some kind of cruel punctuation mark. On the end of a sentence I didn't write. She was gone and the air in the house shifted immediately. Less tense somehow, but colder too. The kind of cold that doesn't come from temperature. The kind that settles in your bones. Because something that once lived here has died. And you're the only one who notices the body. Didn't follow her, didn't call her. Just stood in the hallway for a while, looking at the groove in the wall, where the door always knocked when she opened it too fast. That groove had been there for 7 years, just a little scar in the drywall. We used to joke about fixing it every time we passed it. But we never did. She'd say, leave it, it's our little dent. Now it felt like a monument. Walked through the house slowly, almost like I was seeing it for the first time. The pictures on the wall. Our kids smiling in Halloween costumes. The vase she insisted on keeping despite it being cracked from a move. The shoes by the door. Her heels. The ones she wore when she wanted to feel powerful. Probably the same pair she had on yesterday. Sat on the edge of the couch and stared at my phone. Could call her. Ask who he is. How long it's been going on. Whether he knows she's married. Whether he cares. Instead, I opened our shared cloud account. There were photos there she probably forgot synced. One caught my eye immediately. Dated 5 weeks ago? Not some steamy thing, no. Chloe was smarter than that. It was a mirror selfie. Her in a beige dress I didn't recognize. The tag still on. Taken in a hotel bathroom. Then another one, same bathroom. This time a man's hand holding her waist from behind. His face not in the frame. Her lips parted in a smile I hadn't seen since our honeymoon. Dropped the phone. Not because I was surprised, I wasn't. Not anymore. Dropped it because part of me hoped. Really hoped that I was wrong. That it was some coincidence, or maybe my own jealousy making shadows out of nothing. But now I had it, proof not just of betrayal but of intimacy, of choice, of delight. Cleaned up the shattered glass from the phone case slowly, like it mattered. Then I sat back down and opened our calendar. Wanted to see the dates she said she had late showings, the ones where she came home humming, or glassy-eyed or drenched in someone else's shampoo. They lined up perfectly. Every Thursday night for the last month and a half. Every single one. Closed the laptop, leaned back, stared at the ceiling like it might give me permission to scream. Didn't. Instead, I texted her. When you come home, I want the truth, all of it. I deserve at least that. She didn't respond. 4 hours later, I saw the location ping again. She was back at that cul-de-sac. Still no message. Just another silent night in a house that used to be mine. She walked in like nothing had happened. No explanation, no apology. Just keys tossed lazily in the bowl by the door. That familiar shuffle of her heels across the tile. Like this was just another Thursday. Stayed seated at the kitchen table. Lights off except the one above me. Let her come to me. Let her notice the silence. Let her feel it too. Just once. She didn't. Chloe, I said quietly. She paused mid-step. Her back stiffened for half a second. Then she turned toward me. With that same dead-eyed expression she's perfected over the years. The one that says this isn't worth my time, but I'll entertain it for a second. I asked you for the truth, I said. She exhaled sharply, like I'd asked her to recount a boring meeting. You saw what you wanted to see, she said. I saw your hand in his in a hotel bathroom. Now that got her attention. Her arms folded, chin lifted. So you've been going through my stuff now. Don't turn this on me. No, I want to be clear, she said, voice rising. You spy on me, stalk me, dig through private things, and I'm the problem. I'm your husband. She scoffed. Not lately. That stung, not because it was true, but because of how fast she said it, like she'd been holding that one in her back pocket, waiting. I haven't touched you in weeks, Dylan, she added. And you didn't even notice. I noticed, I said quietly. I just didn't think I needed to compete for your attention in my own house. Her face shifted just slightly. Something cold flashed behind her eyes. I didn't plan this, she said. It just happened. Who is he? You don't know him? That's not what I asked. She hesitated. It's someone I work with. It's not serious. Oh, so I should be relieved. You're just casually blowing up our family. Over something that's not serious? Her lips thinned into a line. You don't understand what it's like, she said. To feel wanted, desired, like someone sees you. I saw you, I snapped. I saw everything. I saw you walk out of his house smiling. I saw the way you looked at him, like he mattered more than I ever did. That's not fair. Fair? I stood up. You think this is about fair? You walked out on this marriage before you ever left the house. There was a long pause. Then softly she said, I think we both know this was dying for a long time. That sentence hit harder than any slap could have. And maybe part of me agreed. But I wasn't the one who opened the door and invited someone else into our ruins. I stayed, I said. I showed up. I kept believing we could still patch the roof, even as the water came pouring in. You want out? I said finally. Then say it. She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in months, and said nothing, just turned and went upstairs. No, I'm sorry. No, we'll talk. Just footsteps fading. Didn't follow. Stayed there in the dark, listening to the ceiling creak under her weight, wondering if she was texting him right now. If she was laughing, poured a drink I didn't want, watched it sweat in my hand. The truth was out. Somehow it didn't make anything easier. Didn't go to work the next day. Called in, said I had a family emergency. It wasn't a lie. But it also wasn't something I wanted to explain to my boss. Between bites of his bagel in the Tuesday morning meeting, Chloe left early, same as always. No goodbye, just the sound of her car backing out. Disappearing down the street. She didn't slam the door this time. Just pulled it shut softly, like the noise might wake whatever was still barely alive in this house. Stood by the window and watched her leave. Watched her merge into traffic. Signal left at the end of the block. Same direction she always took. But she didn't go to her office. Waited 6 minutes, then got in my car. She turned off her location again. Didn't need it. By now I knew the route. It took 22 minutes. 22 quiet, trembling minutes. Down streets we used to drive together. Past the grocery store where we used to argue about what brand of cereal to buy. Past the park where she kissed me in the rain 7 years ago. Like we were the only people in the world. Now she was someone I had to trail like a stranger. She pulled into the same cul-de-sac. Same house. This time she didn't even check her mirrors. Just parked and got out like she lived there. Walked up to the door with a kind of ease I hadn't seen in her in months. Like this was her real life. And ours had just been a long, inconvenient detour. Didn't park, didn't even slow down. Drove right past, but I saw everything. The porch light was still on. The guy, tall, athletic build, maybe late 30s, opened the door before she even knocked. She laughed as she walked in. He touched her back. Then the door shut like I didn't exist. Like I hadn't given 11 years of my life. 2 kids, every ounce of energy I had. Trying to hold together something she was so eager to walk out of. Kept driving. Parked in an empty strip mall lot. Sat in silence for God knows how long. Phone in my lap. Screen dark. Thought about calling my brother. My best friend. Hell, even my dad. But how do you say that out loud? She's cheating on me. No matter how you say it, it feels pathetic. Like you missed something everyone else saw coming. Like you weren't enough. Instead, I opened my notes app. Wrote down everything I remembered. Every lie she told. Every night she came home late. Every excuse. Wrote it like a list, like a case file. Then I deleted it. Didn't need a record. I already lived it. When I finally went home, the house was dark still. Like it had been holding its breath waiting for me to come back. Sat on the floor of the hallway. Stared at the front door for hours. She didn't come home that night. No call, no text, no excuse. Just silence. And that somehow was louder than anything she'd ever said. That's why morning I wasn't numb. I was furious. There's a specific kind of anger that settles into your body. When someone takes everything you've built together, rips it apart in silence, then has the audacity to pretend you're the problem. It's the kind of fury that doesn't make you scream. It just tightens every muscle in your body. Sits behind your eyes like a migraine with teeth. She came home around 9:18 a.m. Watched her from the kitchen. No makeup, hair in a loose braid. She looked like she just stepped out of a bed that wasn't ours. She didn't expect me to be there. Actually flinched when she saw me sitting at the table, with a plate of untouched pancakes in front of me. "Dylan," she said like she'd forgotten I existed. "You didn't come home last night." She dropped her keys in the bowl. Didn't even look at me. "I told you I needed space." "No, Chloe, you disappeared." "I'm not doing this again." "Yes," I said, standing now. "We are doing this? You don't get to come and go like this is a hotel. You're tired of, this is a home. This is my home. And you," my voice cracked, but I pushed through it. "You're not a guest here. You're supposed to be my wife." That finally made her stop. She looked at me like I was something broken. Not pitiful, just inconvenient. "I didn't ask for this to get ugly," she muttered. "No," I said. "You just asked for it to be quiet, easy, secret." She sat down on the couch, kicked off her shoes like she was about to settle in, like we were going to sweep the affair under the rug and pretend it didn't stain every inch of the carpet. Wasn't playing that game. "What's his name?" She didn't answer. "I already know where he lives." "I already know you've been seeing him for weeks. I've got photos, dates. I know it all, Chloe." Still nothing. "Is he married?" "No," she said finally. "Divorced? Kids?" "2 teenagers." Nodded. A detail. A crack in the wall. Maybe if I pulled hard enough it would all come down. "Does he know about me?" Her eyes narrowed. "He knows I'm married." "But does he know you're still living with your husband? That we have kids? That every time you sneak out of here, you're crawling back into our life the next morning? Pretending to be a mother?" She stood fast. "You think you're perfect?" She snapped. "You think I just fell into this because I'm evil? You stopped trying years ago. You became a shell, a safe, boring shell. And I tried to fix things. But all you ever did was coast." "Coast?" I laughed bitterly. "I carried you. I carried us." "No," she said, voice sharp now. "You controlled us. Every decision, every plan, every damn calendar entry. You planned my life so much I forgot how to live it. That's why you found someone else? Because he doesn't plan? Because he lets you pretend like none of this ever happened?" She didn't reply, just walked upstairs. Not a word more. Didn't stop her. Stood in the middle of that empty kitchen, with the smell of cold pancakes and betrayal hanging in the air. Thought about the kids, what they'd think, what they'd say if they knew. Thought about packing her things right then and there. But I didn't, not yet. Something in me needed to see where this was going. Not because I had hope, because I needed to know just how far she was willing to fall. She didn't come downstairs for the rest of the day. Stayed on the main floor, walking circles around the living room, like a man pacing the edge of a cliff waiting for the ground to give. Every creak in the ceiling was a reminder that she was still up there living her life like I was the problem, like she was the victim here. It was almost dark when I finally walked past the bedroom door. Found it locked. Locked like I was a stranger. The threat. Someone who didn't belong in his own marriage. Didn't knock. Went back downstairs and sat on the couch with the TV off, holding the remote like it might anchor me to the moment. Around 8:45, the kids came back from my sister's place. Planned sleepover, thank God. Chloe didn't even come out to greet them. Brushed my daughter's hair in silence, while she told me about some movie they watched. Her little legs swinging off the side of the couch. My son showed me a drawing he made of our cat. Oblivious to the war happening in the same house, lied through my teeth and said their mom was just tired. Got them to bed, kissed their foreheads, stared at their sleeping faces long after I should have left the room, wondering how I was going to tell them. Wondering if I should... Downstairs, the silence returned. At 11:23 p.m., the front door opened. She walked in like she'd never been gone. She was dressed differently. Makeup reapplied. Phone in hand, still lit up with a message she didn't hide. When she saw me, she just gave me that blank, careless look. Like I was a teacher calling on her for a question she didn't care to answer. "Where were you?" I asked. "Out." "Who was watching the kids?" "I knew you were here," she said. "And if I hadn't been, I would have figured something out." Shook my head, stunned. "Do you even care anymore?" She dropped her bag and walked straight past me, brushing her shoulder against mine like I was a coat rack in her way. "I'm tired, Dylan." Followed her into the kitchen. "No, you're not tired. You're finished. Just say it." She poured herself a glass of water, took a long, casual sip. "I don't want to do this anymore," she said finally. Not the fighting, not the pretending. Not this whole broken-down act where we both hate being here. She said it like she was quitting a book she got bored of halfway through. So you've been cheating on me to what? Transition smoothly into the next relationship? She didn't even blink. Do you love him? I asked. No, she said. Not really. But you'll leave me for him. She shrugged. It's not about him. It's about not being with you. Went still. Something inside me shut off like a light. Wasn't the one being cheated on? I was the inconvenience she needed to step over. She set the glass down and walked upstairs without saying another word. And I stood there, palms flat on the kitchen island, breathing like a man just learning how. She was done. She just hadn't packed yet. By the time Saturday rolled around, the quiet between us had gone nuclear. We didn't speak. We didn't look at each other. She moved through the house like a ghost with keys. Still here, still using the fridge, still doing her makeup in the mirror we bought together. But not present, not with me. She hadn't said anything about divorce, no mention of custody, no discussion about how this was going to play out. Because in her mind, it already was. She had made her choice. I was just the background character waiting for my scene to end. That morning, I woke up to her already gone. She left early, earlier than usual. Checked the calendar on our fridge. Nothing, no client names, no appointments. But I didn't need her schedule anymore. I had mine. Waited until the kids were at my mother's house. Said I needed to take care of some things. That wasn't a lie, because by noon I was parked outside his place again. Same SUV in the driveway. Same damn wind chimes jingling on his porch. Like this was also innocent, peaceful. Wasn't planning anything reckless. Wasn't going to throw punches. Just needed to see. Needed to understand what was so magnetic about this guy. That Chloe was willing to throw away a decade for him. At 12:41 p.m., the door opened. He stepped out first. Tan jacket, sunglasses. The kind of guy who probably jogs every morning. And compliments baristas with too much charm. Chloe came out next. Laughing at something he said. Not just a soft laugh, hers. The real one. The one I hadn't heard in years. Snapped a photo. They walked to his car. She slid into the passenger seat like she'd done it 100 times before. Don't know what broke in me more. The fact that she was cheating, or how comfortable she looked doing it. Watched them drive off. Didn't follow, didn't need to. Had what I came for. Certainty. And with that came a sick kind of clarity. This wasn't just an affair. This wasn't a mistake. This was a campaign. Quiet, methodical, and complete. She checked out of this marriage a long time ago, and stayed just long enough to make sure her exit had soft lighting. Went home and started collecting her things. Not in rage, not as some symbolic performance, but because it was time. Pulled a suitcase out of the hall closet, placed it on our bed, my bed, filled it with clothes she wouldn't miss. She had a drawer full of things she hadn't touched in months, perfume bottles that still sat half full, jewelry she used to wear before she stopped caring about my opinion, packed it all neatly. Then I grabbed a manila folder from my home office, started printing dates, times, photos, her messages from the cloud backups I never told her I recovered. Laid it all out on the kitchen table. Wasn't giving her the satisfaction of a fight. Was giving her facts. Let her lie to herself about how this happened. Let her twist the narrative for her friends. But the evidence would be here, undeniable. She could walk out, but she'd never walk out thinking I was blind. When she came home around 6:15, the air shifted immediately. She saw the suitcase, then the folder, her face drained. She looked at me. Didn't speak, just gestured to the chair. I guess this is it then, she said. No, I said. This was it a long time ago. I'm just finally catching up. She sat. I didn't. Let her open the folder. Let her see herself in every screenshot, every timestamp, every laugh she thought was hidden. And for the first time in weeks, she had nothing to say. Nothing at all. She sat there flipping through the folder, like it was someone else's life. But it wasn't. It was hers. Every lie she told wrapped in a neat little timeline. Days, hours, locations. Even the name of the hotel, she said, had bad Wi-Fi. Had receipts, literally. Still, she didn't say a word. Just sat at the table in the same spot. She used to eat with our kids. Watched her eyes move over the page with mechanical detachment. Like she was reading a receipt for groceries she didn't remember buying. Finally, she spoke. So this is what you've been doing. Stared at her. Not even anger anymore, just disbelief. This is what you made me do, I said. She smiled faintly. But there, almost like she was impressed. I didn't think you had it in you. I didn't, I said. But you made sure I learned. She closed the folder and pushed it away, like it was beneath her. You really want to drag this through court? She asked. I'm not dragging anything, I said. You've already buried it. I'm just making sure it's marked properly. Dylan, she said, softening her voice now, changing gears like I hadn't just watched her build a new life, while mine fell apart. We have kids, we need to be civil. Almost laughed. You want civil after what you did? I made a mistake, she said. No, you made a choice. Over and over, she leaned back, arms crossed. I was unhappy, and instead of telling me, you found someone to fill the space while I was still standing in it. She said nothing, walked around the table and opened the drawer. With the divorce papers I'd started drafting with a lawyer friend, months ago, before I ever saw her walk out of that other man's house. Because some part of me already knew, slid them in front of her. You don't even have to read them, I said. I'm giving you what you want. You're free. She looked at the papers but didn't touch them. And the kids? She asked. We'll figure that out. But not today. She stared at me like she couldn't recognize the person in front of her. And maybe she couldn't, because I wasn't the version of Dylan she'd spent months gaslighting, undermining, sidestepping. That Dylan was gone. She stood slowly, walked past me without a word, picked up the suitcase, looked back once but not at me, at the house, the walls, the table, the memories. Then she left. The door didn't slam, it clicked shut, almost politely. And just like that, she was out. But the silence she left behind, it stayed. That night, the house felt cavernous, not quiet, hollow, like every sound echoed a little too long, like the rooms had been emptied of meaning, not furniture. Walked through them not like a homeowner, not like a husband, but like a visitor in a place that used to mean something. The suitcase was gone. Her scent still clung to the bathroom towels, but that would fade. The makeup she used to clutter the sink with, gone. Her side of the bed was suddenly too flat, too clean, too untouched. Didn't lie down on it, couldn't. Grabbed a blanket and slept on the couch. Not because I had to, but because that bed didn't feel like mine anymore. Didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't throw anything. What I felt was worse than rage. I felt relief. Because the waiting was over. The worst had already happened. It just took her leaving to show me that I'd survived it. Woke up to silence again, but this time I didn't hate it. The kids were still asleep upstairs. The sun was peeking through the blinds. The house, for all its scars, had settled into stillness. Later that morning, I told them, sat them both down at the kitchen table, where their mother had once read out math homework and cut up apple slices. Didn't give them the gory details. Didn't say the words affair or betrayal. Just said that Mom and Dad were going to be living in different places now. That we still loved them more than anything. That nothing about our love for them had changed. They were quiet for a long time. Then my daughter asked, Did Mommy leave because of us? That broke me. Held her close, tighter than I ever had, and whispered, No, not even a little. This wasn't about you. This was about grown-up things. But it was a lie. Because it was about them. Every moment Chloe snuck out. Every night she stayed gone. She was choosing something else over this family. Over them. She came by 3 days later to pick them up. She knocked this time. Didn't walk in. Didn't act like she owned the space. And when she saw the kids, her face softened, like it always did. But when her eyes met mine, it was all blank glass again. Not guilt, not sorrow, just vacancy. She said thanks when I helped buckle our youngest into the car. Then she drove off again. No apology, no explanation. Just another exit. Stood on the porch a long time, watching the tail lights disappear down the road. And for the first time since all of this began, I didn't feel like chasing. I didn't feel like breaking. I just breathed. And I let her go. Weeks passed, and with them the rhythm of my life changed. Not overnight. Not all at once, but like the tide creeping in at low tide, quiet. Started doing the laundry without separating hers out. The empty space in the closet stopped bothering me, cooked for 3 instead of 4. And the grocery list shrank without her almond milk, her specific yogurt, her overpriced shampoos that she said were essential. Learned to enjoy the silence, to let the house breathe. The kids adjusted faster than I thought they would. Resilient like most kids are. They asked fewer questions with each visit. They stopped checking the door to see if she was coming home. Her calls grew more spaced out. She FaceTimed from new apartments. With blank walls and borrowed curtains, always smiling, always a little too rehearsed. Watched them from the corner of the room, never interrupting, but never letting my guard down either. Didn't ask about him. She didn't offer. We communicated through emails now. Cold, structured, legal. Everything from pickups to dentist appointments. She signed her messages, Chloe. Like we were strangers negotiating a timeshare instead of raising children together. And maybe we were. The manila folder was still in my drawer. Hadn't looked at it since the day she left. But I kept it. Not for revenge, not for proof. For clarity. Because on the days when doubt crept in, when loneliness sank its teeth into the quiet, and whispered, maybe you overreacted, maybe you pushed too hard, maybe this was your fault, I needed to remember she made those choices. She walked out, she stayed gone. One night I found her perfume bottle behind the bathroom mirror, tucked in the back, probably forgotten. It was the same one she wore on our 4th anniversary. The one I bought her when she said she wanted to feel expensive. Opened it, breathed it in once, then tossed it in the trash without a word. That was the night I took off my ring. No big moment, no tears. Just slipped it off while brushing my teeth and placed it in the drawer beside hers, where it had lived when we used to shower together and laugh about who left the towels on the floor. Didn't feel like an end. Felt like space finally cleared. Later, I went outside and sat on the porch with a beer in hand. The air was cold, sharp, the kind of cold that wakes you up. Stared at the stars for a long time and realized I wasn't waiting for her anymore. Not to apologize, not to explain. Not even to understand. Didn't need closure from the person who cracked the door open and walked away. Because the truth is she wasn't coming back. And for the first time, I didn't want her to. The house feels lighter now. Not empty, mine. There's a difference. The silence no longer chokes. It wraps around me like a worn-in jacket. Something that fits because it's been lived in. The kind of quiet you earn. The kind that tells you you've been through the fire. And you didn't come out clean, but you came out. Chloe signed the divorce papers without comment. Slid them across the table at the lawyer's office. Like they were a bill she didn't feel like paying. She didn't ask for much. Maybe guilt, maybe convenience. Maybe she just wanted to close the chapter. As fast as she tore through it. Didn't ask her if she was still seeing him. Didn't care. Her story has continued elsewhere. White walls, new sheets, unfamiliar shadows. Let her build her new life without the foundation she abandoned. Let her create a version of herself. That doesn't have to look me in the eye anymore. As for me, I started building too. Repainted the bedroom. Got rid of the duvet she picked. Replaced her nightstand with a bookshelf. The closet's half full now, but it's honest. The bathroom smells like cedar and mint. Instead of vanilla and manipulation, the kitchen feels like a place where real conversations can happen again. And the kids, they're okay. Better even, they laugh again. They sleep through the night. My daughter stopped asking when mommy's coming home. My son holds my hand longer than he used to. They're healing, so am I. It's not about forgetting. It's about reclaiming. One night, a few weeks after the final papers came in, I found an old birthday card she wrote me years ago. Tucked in the back of a drawer I rarely opened. In it, she'd written, "You're the only place I ever feel safe." Funny how people can outgrow even their own truths. Read it once, then lit a match. Watch the edges curl. The ink bleed. The words vanish into flame. Not out of anger, not out of spite. Just closure. The kind she never gave me. Stood outside that night, barefoot on the grass. The ashes drifting up like dust from a memory. And I thought about those 5 words she once said like a lifeline. Let's talk tonight. But tonight came, and so did the truth. And I did what she never had the courage to do. I showed up for it. Fully, completely, finally.